Francis. And he's going to talk about where the Catholic Church stands on the Pope and some evolving issues in the Catholic Church. It's Nicole Sotelo. She's director of communications for A Call to Action, which is a group of Catholics who work together for justice and equality. It's a group that educates, inspires, and activates Catholics to act for justice and build inclusive communities through a lens of anti-racism and anti-oppression principles. This from their website. Nicole, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great to have you on board. So first of all, Nicole, your reaction to the selection of Pope Francis, and what do you see as perhaps one of the greatest challenges to the Pope as he takes office?
Well, I think we are very excited to see what will happen with this new Pope. Everybody heard when he was elected that he chose the name Pope Francis. Francis being a name that no pope in history has ever chosen. And I think this symbolizes that he's open to doing things anew, doing something new in the church. And I think Catholics today are ready for that. As you know, recently the Pew Forum did a study showing that of all the denominations here in the U.S., Catholics are losing the most numbers. Pope Francis is coming into a church in crisis, and I think he has a lot on his plate, but we're hopeful that, like his namesake, St. Francis of Assisi, he's willing to do something new too.
Nicole, the church has been through a sort of a difficult time for the last several years. The church sex abuse scandals. There's a lot of discussion among Catholics, I know, about whether the role of priests, whether they should continue their sort of abstinence. Does A Call to Action take a view on that?
We do. We are actually hopeful that, like St. Francis, Pope Francis will call his leaders to accountability and not just working for justice in the world, but looking at justice inside the church itself. Call to Action has what we call our Just Church program, and it looks at 5 areas where we think the church needs to change. The first being women and girls equality, the second, LGBT justice, the third, racial justice, the fourth, lay engagement, and the fifth, church worker justice. And so we're very much at the forefront of looking at how the church can be a force for justice, not just in the world, but within its own structures.
You get first, what kind of response do you get from church leadership? Because these are issues that may seem somewhat difficult for them.
It may, but we really root ourselves within the Christian tradition. Over and over throughout Christian history, we've seen people like St. Catherine of Siena, like St. Teresa of Avila, like St. Francis himself, who knew that a better church was possible. They looked around and saw that church leaders were not living according to the gospel values of justice, of love, and they did something about it. And so the Catholics who are part of Call to Action, there's 25,000 supporters across the country, nuns, priests, lay people, all working together to say, we know another church is possible.